The NBA is like many sports in that they record and keep track of things that most people wouldn't notice. From shots taken to shots missed, to playing time, bench time, and of course wins and losses. But when you dive deep into the records of the NBA, you see some truly sad and weird records that are acknowledged by the league. Some of which I'm sure you'd never expect. Join me as I show you 10 weird records in the NBA you didn't know existed. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel.
Just a reminder about our new giveaway. We're giving away the new iPad Pro or the new iMac Pro. The choice is yours. All you have to do is watch the full video, leave a like, comment the keyword hidden in the video, and make sure you're subscribed. It's that simple.
9. Worst team ever. Okay, I'm sure you did expect this one, but when a team sucks this badly, you can't help but talk about it. The Charlotte Bobcats are considered the worst team in NBA history. The 2011-12 Bobcats were just awful, and thankfully for them, it was the lockout-shortened season with just 66 games. A combination of injuries and the lack of talent meant that they were completely outmatched, and it should have never come to this. But it did, and it's a record because of it, which is sad because at one point, it seemed things could get good. In 2009-10, Larry Brown led the Bobcats' incarnation of the franchise to its first winning record and a playoff appearance. Usually, this would be the start of something good, or at least promising. Then Tyson Chandler was traded away before the start of the 10-11 season, and Gerald Wallace was traded during the season, with the Bobcats getting marginal players in return. Brown was fired or resigned during the 10-11 season, and the Bobcats eventually missed the playoffs. Leading scorer Steven Jackson was then traded for Corey Maggette, and a draft pick before the start of the 11-12 season. They started off the season 2-4, which isn't too bad in context, but went 5-55 the rest of the way. Maggette only played 32 games due to injury, and DJ Augustin also missed some time. The two players drafted, Kemba Walker and Bismack Biyombo, had decent rookie campaigns, but nothing spectacular. Which is ironic because Kemba would become one of the best players in franchise history and was an A+ get for the Boston Celtics in the 2019-2020 season that's currently postponed. After the 2-4 start, the Bobcats were 7-36, thanks to a 16-game losing streak, but were seemingly in no danger of posting the worst record percentage-wise in NBA history, but they did. The Bobcats lost their final 23 games, to end with a woeful winning percentage of .106, just lower than the 1972-73 Sixers. To their credit, they have rebounded well from the disaster and made 2 playoff appearances in the following 4 seasons. Although, to be clear, they're not exactly the Charlotte Bobcats anymore. They're the Charlotte Hornets, because names mean everything, I guess. Regardless of the name, they are the worst of the worst, and many look at them and hope that they never fall that far. And should one actually achieve that goal? Well, the NBA will never forget. 8. Shortest NBA career ever, on the court. In the NBA, there are many levels that players wish to achieve, but while many try and achieve some level of stardom, most would agree that if they had a long career and were appreciated by the team or teams they were on, that would be enough. If you look at various legends and even legendary role players, you'll see that they often played in the NBA for well over a decade. But that begs the question on the opposite side of the spectrum. What is the shortest NBA career ever? That would be none other than Jameson Curry, a name I'm sure you don't recognize. He was once signed with the Los Angeles Clippers on a 10-day contract, which is standard at times to see how a player will gel with the team, see his potential, etc., and his career on the court lasted 1 game, at 3.9 seconds. No, really, that's his state for on-the-court time. 3.9 seconds. Curry was waived off the team a few days later, and no one picked him up, ending his career. That must have been a hard pill to swallow, to actually make it to the NBA, and then only play for a few seconds. 7. Most consecutive games with an ejection. No matter what sport you're in, there are levels in which you can cause problems. You do a light thing, you get a penalty, or a foul called. You do a heinous act, you're kicked out of the game. For the NBA, that's an ejection. You're kicked off the court and sent to the locker room. Ejections have helped turn many games' momentums around, and there have been some interesting records associated with it, including one held by Dan Bovin. Playing for the Milwaukee Hawks during the 1951-1952 season, Don Bovin somehow managed to rack up 6 fouls and be ejected in not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6 consecutive games. That's a lot, and it speaks a lot to his personality type. Somehow he lasted 3 seasons in the NBA, but it wasn't exactly the greatest of runs, and he's going to be forever known for his ejections more than any talent he might have had. 6. Most minutes played without recording a single stat. Every player in the NBA has a role, and to do that role well is to ensure that you get more playing time and possibly get a better contract down the line. The things you don't want is to just be there, to be on the court, but not do anything. Enter Joel Anthony. When he played with the Miami Heat, he was on the roster with legends like Lebron James, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, and more. You know, the Heat team that went to 4 NBA Finals and won 2. Anthony, though, was just there. He would get a lot of minutes because the team was thin on their center position. But what did he do? Not much. In fact, in one game, he went 28 minutes without getting points, an assist, a rebound, a block, or a steal. 28 minutes! That's over half a game, and he was just there. Obviously, the team did well without him, but still. 5. Most missed field goals without a make. Let's be honest here, even legends have bad days. LeBron, MJ, Harden, Curry, it happens to all of them. Field goals just don't go in when you want them to at times. But how bad do you have to be to go 0-17? You can ask the NBA legend who did this with Tim Hardaway Sr. During his time with the Golden State Warriors, he was part of a trio known as Run TMC, with him being the T, obviously. But one time he literally stunk up the floor and had an 0-17 shooting game. His team won the game, but it wasn't because of him. He apparently framed the box score to remind himself never to do that again. Thankfully, he was able to keep that promise. And this just goes to show that well and truly, even legends can own bad records. 4. Quickest player to foul out. Fouling out in the NBA is never helpful, and no player wants to do that. Unless your name is Coach Don Nelson, and you have a player like Bubba Wells on your side. Then that's exactly what you want him to do. Bubba played in the NBA just 1 year, and was with the Dallas Mavericks when Nelson was coach. In an attempt to get Chicago Bulls player Dennis Rodman to the line, he put in Bubba and told him to continually foul him, which Bubba did, and fouled out of the game a mere 3 in-game minutes later. Clever? Sure. Fair to Bubba? Not really, and he literally sacrificed a player, whom we presume was average at best on the court, just to try and get an upper hand. That's rather devious, no? 3. Worst record to get into playoffs. A sad fact of the NBA is that because 8 teams in both the East and the West get in, if a division is overly bad, it means a team with a losing record will get into the playoffs. This happens a lot in recent seasons, and will likely happen in the upcoming playoffs when the NBA returns. But what's the worst of the worst to somehow get into the NBA playoffs? That would be the Baltimore Bullets, with a record of 16-54. This happened during the 1952-53 season, where the playoff rules were much different. But yeah, they got in with that record, and then they quickly got swept by the Knicks. 2. Most teams played for. Look, the NBA, like other sports leagues, is one about moving pieces around in order to get better ones and get big stars. And sometimes, that means that players play for multiple teams in their career. But what might surprise you is that the NBA keeps track of this. And multiple players have been on a record 12 teams during their time in the NBA. Chucky Brown, Jim Jackson, Tony Massenberg, and Joe Smith all were on 12 different teams during their runs. What's ironic though is that when you look at when they all played in the league, they actually all played at the same time frame basically. Also, you might think that they were traded around so much because they weren't good players. And yet, look at their careers. And the shortest among them was 13 years in the league. 1. Lowest scoring game in NBA history. Given the star power that the NBA has had since the 80s, from Bird to Magic to MJ to Carmelo to LeBron, and now Giannis, Curry, and more, the idea of a low scoring game is rather ludicrous. And you would be right. The lowest scoring game ever happened in 1950. This was before the introduction of the shot clock, so the teams could play by college and high school rules and just play keep away. Such is what happened with the Fort Wayne Pistons and the Minneapolis Lakers. The score? 19-18. Wow.
Just a reminder about our new giveaway. We're giving away the new iPad Pro or the new iMac Pro. The choice is yours. All you have to do is watch the full video, leave a like, comment the keyword hidden in the video, and make sure you're subscribed. It's that simple.
So what do you think? What do you think of these weird stats and records that the NBA has kept over the years? Can you believe how bad or weird these players had to be in order to get these records? Which of these records stunned you the most? Let us know in the comments below, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time on the channel.